You are coping and seething. You just can't accept what you see. Yes, you're coping and seething.
Nice argument, Senator. Why don't you back it up with a source?
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
What's up, everybody? Good morning. It is 5 a.m. here in Bangkok, Thailand, and I'm about to catch a flight to Japan, but everyone was up in my inbox and saying, hey, Destiny is live right now. He's speaking. He's pulling a Niji Sanji, a Nick Rekieta, and when these moments come up, then they're very rare, but they come up very often when, of course, social media people forget the line between what you do for social media and what you do for protecting the best interests of your case, for protecting yourself, protecting your interests. Once again, we have another social media figure who thinks they are very smart and has decided to make a public statement in the form of a stream. So we're going to get into that today. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney, Florida attorney, and this lawsuit is in Florida, so that's honky-dory. Even though it's in federal court, it applies a lot of Florida law, Florida statutes. Of course, I am a Florida attorney. And this is Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. Once again, I'm not telling you what to think, who to side with, or whatever else on this. I'll give you my honest opinions and my honest takes, but it is up to you to decide the truth and veracity of any statement, of any excuse, of any complaint, of anything, of any allegation. So we're going to get into it today. I may not have enough time to go through this because I've got to go in like 45 minutes ish. So we're going to try to play this video. And yes, there's a document. We could go through the document, but that's boring. Why not just go through the video, the stream? And there's some extra information in the stream as well as his own commentary, which can and will be used against him in a court of law. So we're going to go with that. I'm going to try to do it at 1.25 speed. Now, Destiny talks fast. So if that is too fast, we may have to drop that down back to normal speed. But we'll get into it today. And thank you for warming us up here. Potential criminal Sean, one of the people who texted me, says there's no way he retained legal counsel yet. I'll just say this. There's no fucking way, and this is my professional opinion here, that a lawyer would tell you, a defense lawyer would tell you, yeah, you can have a full-on stream where you're just, commenting on top of having a statement. There's one thing about having a public statement, having that vetted by PR, etc. But it's a different thing when you have a live stream, you're responding, you're looking at chat, you're making comments that are not in the statement, above and beyond the statement. I don't think any defense lawyer in their right mind would say, yeah, that's a great idea. You should go and do that. I really, truly do not. So I think Sean is on point here. Once again, Sean, a real defense attorney, right? out there who's given that opinion. I didn't have time to make, because I literally just winged this stream. I did not have time to make this shut up meme and customize it for Destiny. I'm gonna have to do that in a future basis, but I think the Niji Sanji, and I repurposed that one for the nuisance streamers, the IRL streamers. I think I'm gonna have to repurpose that one for Destiny because it is pretty bad. And yes, Artemis from 199 says, have you secured Rima as a gooning expert? Yes. She's trying to pay me in Daki Makara, which I'm not going to accept as a form of valid payment. But yes, she is going to be our gooning expert for this trial. I'm going to bring her in. Absolutely. Rigo said for 5, is the goon going to defend his gooning? We got to get a fauna clip in for that.
Disgusting.
Here we go. So without further ado, because we don't have much time here, I'm just going to get right into it. We're going to do it raw. We're going to do it right off this. So here is Destiny's public statement. His chat is here. I believe this is unlisted, but we have the back door. So just strap in, guys. I'm going to try not to pause too much, and we'll get into this and go through it. So obviously you have Destiny here and his statement.
Purpose. Why write this? On January 20th, 2020.
Can I just say something? His voice is very grating to me. I have never listened to Destiny because his voice, and I'm going to pop a Coke Zero here. Need some caffeine to get me through. His voice for me is like the nails on the chalkboard effect. I don't know about you guys. I'll put a poll in the chat.
25. Pixie created a Substack post which you can see here, signaling her intent to sue me. She has since filed her lawsuit in which she claims I shared explicit material we created together without her permission. Until now, I've stayed away from addressing the exact claims she's made in her post and subsequent lawsuit. While it's important to explain my purpose for writing this, it might be more illuminating to quickly explain why I'm not writing this. I am not writing this to appease the accusations made against me, my anti-fan communities, or other vultures who are here to simply hype up whatever stories they can involving me or others around me. Minister Girl, love.
Well, obviously he is. So this is the big cope here. Clearly, the purpose of this statement and the only purpose of doing this statement has no legal. There's no legal anything for this. This isn't Japan or Korea where an apology matters or whatever. Like in this case, there's no legal effect to him doing this other than it could screw him up, and other than anything he says can and will be used against him in a court of law. So all of these public statements, particularly after the filing of a lawsuit, can be used against him. So this is not something that is going to really help at all. I mean, maybe it could appease his own fan base. Maybe that's what he's caring about. But there's a certain point at which you need to not just care about the fee-fees of your Discord, which I've learned a lot of people do, and say, hey, look, this is my life and my livelihood. I need to do what's best for me. I'm just not going to talk about it. We're going to continue to stream on other stuff, or I'm going to move on, right? I mean, that's kind of what we have here. If you're going to post a statement, you can just post it. You don't need to go through and stream it.
I'm not writing this to divulge every single personal detail of my life for the public to
Real quick, though, Natasha for 2 says, live. Yes, live. Felza says, have you seen President Trump shouting at Princess Rima? Our clopping gooning expert got great clout from 47. No, I have not. I got to check that out. Riga for 5 says, need more than just caffeine to deal with Destiny. Need to add some bourbon to make him bearable. Well, I've had a long night. Let's say I've had a long night, and yeah, I've had some Thai whiskey tonight, so I'm kind of good to go, but I'm not anywhere near intoxicated or anything. Just I ended up sleeping during the day and staying up at night. Went out. Bangkok's always open 24 hours, and I got this really early flight, so I'll be catching that real soon. So I'm going to continue with this.
Home through in order to harass me or others around me. I'm not writing this to respond to the multitude of claims made about me that have been circulating on the internet, sometimes for over a decade. For the majority of these claims, I simply don't wish to rehash every single wild claim or baseless accusation someone throws my way, especially when they're demanding I divulge even more personal information to do so. And more importantly, I shouldn't be forced to provide that level of personal access to my life. I've already had my privacy violated in the most extreme and disgusting ways over the past few months, and I don't enjoy it.
Well, here's the thing. By talking about this, he's going to be divulging other details. So a lot of these things he's saying are really counter to what you're going to necessarily do in responding to it.
Having every single private interaction I've had held up under a microscope for the internet to psychoanalyze. I do, however, feel compelled to provide a bit of backstory to my audience for you to have a bit of an understanding of everything that's transpired over the last few years relating to this incident, if for no other reason than to dispel at least the worst assumptions that some people have made about me, even within my own community. If you're unhappy with the level of personal details, or if you wish for me to divulge more about person ABC or situation XYZ, I don't care. You can simply leave. This isn't to say that I won't address other things in the future. I probably will, but one piece at a time, okay? Why wait so long? I'm sympathetic to people who view me negatively, even in the worst light, because it seems difficult to imagine why I would stay silent on everything that's been said about the situation so far.
It's not difficult at all. This is a legal case. There's people suing you. That's why you stay silent. It's kind of one line there, because someone's suing me. Period. Stop. Don't need to say anymore.
There are 3 reasons for the delay in transparency. The first was minimizing exposure to revenge porn. A great deal of explicit content of mine had been published on Kiwi Farms, including incredible.
Shout out to Kiwi Farms. Where's Joshua Moon? Joshua Moon. Oh boy, I have a feeling, I have an inkling that the lawsuit between Destiny and Kiwi Farms may happen sooner than later, and we're all here for it, because that'll be the biggest lawsuit ever of Destiny trying to take on the farms.
Personal communications of mine. Giving this any kind of public attention is obviously a massive victory for vulture communities as well as the leaker, and a massive loss for the privacy of myself and any of the other victims involved. It's irritating that because I'm a man, the expectation is that any explicit...
By the way, I love he calls vulture community anybody who comments on it. So like if you have an opinion, you're a vulture. Okay, well, all right, sure.
Material of mine leaked for sexually humiliating purposes is just expected to be laughed at by me while being made into a joke by every community on the internet, including my own. whether that includes those maliciously lying about our hookups for purposes of public humiliation or selectively publishing explicit leaked material online. All of it is incredibly disgusting and invasive, doubly so when I've been expected to just roll with it. It's incredibly bizarre how many people are fixated on insisting that I'm not a victim in this when I was the primary target of the entire revenge porn posting.
So one of his thesis here is that he is the victim. I don't think that's going to work out well for him. I don't think a person who recorded people with or without their consent, there's some people alleging that what he did was non-consensual. I don't think he's going to be able to spin this back into I am the victim. That's going to be a real hard road to follow.
While other people were undeniably harmed by these leaks, they were seen as collateral damage to the publisher of the material and the website providing hosting for it in the goal to attack me, whether it was through reputation, monetary harm, or just some other form of sadistic humiliation.
See, this is Kiwi Farm. See, this is where I think he's going to go. He's queuing up here for the anti-Kiwi Farms lawsuit. He's going to lose that one, but you can see how he's framing this.
The second point is Pixie's privacy request. Once the leaker published and hosted all of my explicit content on Kiwi Farms, Pixie messaged me and informed me that she didn't want confirmation of her in any part of the material. She said, I'm 100% denying it's me, by the way, since it's not super clear at my face or anything like that. I haven't told other personal people.
So he's doxing the DMs, of course. Once again, that's extra stuff and putting her on blast. Now, by the way, there is a protective order now against Destiny, a protective order to protect Pixie. Against Destiny, so the contact between them is now cut.
My life about it. This is me talking. Basically, do you have any specific requests about like removing anything? And then it's just her saying, I don't want to testify or be named in anything. As far as people asking me, I'm just saying it's a lookalike. Don't tell anyone privately either if it's me or not. Basically, Pixie messaged me and informed me that
trying to say this is all to protect her. Once again, it's a very, very bold move. Phantom Lord GH07 for 5 says, would any lawyer touch this case considering how much damage Destiny is doing to his case? Yes, there are lawyers that would do it. I mean, look at the case of Nick Rekieta. Look at other cases, other than the Coke Pope. I mean, look at like Casey Anthony. There's always people that will step up to defend people who you might even think are undefendable. And so there are lawyers out there. I mean, I'm sure like Elaine Bredehoff might take this one. I mean, there's people out there that have a questionable grasp of the law and don't really care about the morality of the issue.
She didn't want confirmation of her in any part of the material. As such, I made no public statements regarding her appearance in any of the leaked material. She has since filed a public lawsuit, which is why I feel comfortable speaking out now. All of our conversations until December 10th were almost exclusively about contacting law firms, removing any explicit material online, and minimizing her risk and exposure to any online abuse or harassment. Pretrial settlement, the third reason. The vast majority of cases are settled. I Googled, there's a lot of numbers. It's all 90% plus.
Now I don't watch Destiny, but one thing I do know about Destiny is he Googles and wikis and AIs a lot of answers. This is taking something that is a general rule and applying it to your specific case. What he has not done is he has not looked at high profile cases like this. He's looking at all civil cases. What that statistic is true, but here's the fun fact that he's not factoring in. A lot of cases are stuff like car accidents, insurance claims, right? Small claims, stuff that can be settled very easily and is settled very easily. He's not looking at the subset of high profile, particularly celebrity cases. If they are settled, they're typically going to be settled by him. He's going to be the one to settle it to make this go away because this is a huge cloud on him. So if there's any settlement, it'll be him bending the knee. But it's not going to be because, he's got some fantastic arguments or he made the statement, et cetera, et cetera. So taking those statistics is really missing the mark. And it's taking something that applies to the whole system and assuming that applies to your very specific case, which it does not. If you look at most high-profile cases, they're not really keen to settle. Let's look at even like the Gina Carano case against Disney, right? She still hasn't settled. And if you have a strong motive and a justice motive, or, something to prevent it from happening to other people, which Pixie says she does, I don't think this is going to settle quickly. Now, it might settle eventually. It might settle before trial. Maybe there's a point at which the costs are piling up and Pixie's like, all right, well, it's really expensive. So, let's see what happens here. But then again, now that this is getting publicity, I think there's going to be a lot of channels even that would fund the lawsuit. There's people that can just fund the lawsuit based on fundraising and say, hey, yeah, go at it, because all the people covering this are going to make far more than the legal fees in this. So if just a couple people donated to Pixie's case, particularly a lot of people that don't like Destiny, whether they're on the left or on the right, I think there wouldn't be a problem funding it long enough where she wouldn't have to settle if she didn't want to. That's a little opinion there. Well, sorry, that is not an opinion. That is a extrapolation, right, based on what type of case this is, and it's a reasonable extrapolation based on the type of case, right? So I would say, the chance of this getting settled really early is not good. And I think maybe post discovery settlement possible, but I think this gets discovery.
Before they ever go to trial, and the vast majority of them before they aren't even filed in court at all. One of the big reasons why lawyers...
Well, that's too late for that, right? So it's not, once again, he's using a statistic that is including stuff before it's filed. Well, this is going to be filed. So it is filed. So we're already past that.
Encourage their clients not to discuss their case publicly, especially before it's been filed. It's because you lose a lot of leverage that you might have otherwise when it comes to negotiating a deal with the opposing party. If this seems confusing or unintuitive, that's fine. Just keep it in the back of your mind, because it'll become much clearer later on as I explain this.
Okay, real quick before he gets to the events. Natasha said he's totally wing himself in the berries. Yeah, he's kicking himself in the nuts by making this statement. Rottweiler for 100 Mexican pesos says, was this public statement made against the advice of his lawyers because he simply can't shut the fuck up? And how bad for him will all this be? Personally, I love seeing him fall hard and flee the internet. We'll see how bad all of it is, but I cannot. Sean made the first super chat today. He is a lawyer. A practicing lawyer in perhaps similar circumstances, and I would also agree on the corporate side, with cases that we had to decide whether to settle or not, whether to proceed or not, what to say, what to not say. I really doubt, I highly doubt that his lawyer approved this entire statement and him streaming it. I really don't think they understood. Maybe they read this and they're like, yeah, it seems all right, but they didn't understand he was going to be streaming it, and there's going to be a chat on the side as well, right? So that's all going to come into the record as well. So Pixie's going to be able to point at comments that may be against her in the chat and be like, look, this is a proof that there's damage. Jane and John Dew said Destiny has peer-reviewed studies about revenge porn. I'm sure he does. And Repton gifted 10 Legal Mindset memberships. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate that. Very base, Repton. Napoleon Johnamite Mugen says, I don't see him settling, but that's me. He might eventually, depending on what comes out during discovery. That's typically when people settle.
Events. In April of 2022, I was contacted by Rose. We maintained an amicable friendship up through 2023. We never have any fights or disagreements about anything. We were always on good terms with one another. November of 2024, as I was filling out my Discord friends list of people I no longer speak with, I noticed the account was still added and we hadn't spoken in a while. So I sent a message to it, checking in to see how she was doing. I have strong reason to believe that at the time I did that, someone besides Rose was logged into the account, scrolled up to see all of the messages we'd exchanged, and took steps to protect their identity so they could dump all of the materials they'd found in our messages to various Discord servers and eventually Kiwi Farms.
I like how he's got Kiwi Farms italicized. I feel like this is not his public statement. This is like his accusations against Kiwi Farms. I really feel like that's the angle because it's the way it's framed from the jump. Beth Craft, welcome as a new member. Zodak Attack for 20. Thank you so much for the big one. If the good Lord wills it, Destiny won't settle and it will be streamed jury trial. We can only hope in Florida. Oh no, that'd be great. Except for it's a federal case, so we'd have to go to it. Now, this is in my home city, so perhaps there's a little flight that I can take down there and attend some of these hearings and maybe the trial. That'd be kind of fun, go home for a little bit, check it out. I think that might be really interesting, but obviously if it's in federal court, we're not going to have anything streamed. Unfortunately. Sorry. Shala said, ooh, afternoon Regal Mindset. Let's go. Yep. Michael Mud Dragon for 20 says, I must be dehydrated because this shower is darker than the gold it should be. Thank you for that. Appreciate you guys supporting me early in the morning as I rush through this before my flight. Bald Eagle 1787 for 10 says, if Destiny keeps posting stupid things like this, I'd push for a trial. He gives more and more reason for the jury to reach that 1 billion that was set in the Alex Jones case. Pixie hasn't stated 1 billion in damages, and I don't think she'd get it. I think tens of millions is probably the top end here. I don't think this is a $1 billion case.
The leaks on November 20th. Future posting. Whoops. On November 20th, 2024, the Discord user Solo began to leak huge swaths of personal messages between me and another person across several Discord chat rooms. President Sunday was sent these messages and decided to do a dramatic reading of them for his YouTube channel. Several days after he and other parts of the internet had their fun exploiting leaked material from my personal life, Solo messaged me sometime in the morning and said that he was unhappy with how the coverage of the leaks had been so far. He felt as though people weren't giving it enough attention, so he was going to leak more from my logs with Rose if I didn't allow him to come on my stream and speak with me. I don't exactly remember what the message to me was, as I just woken up, read it, and then responded briefly before going back to sleep. The next time I checked my messages with him, everything had been deleted.
Okay.
Well, on that same day, November 29th, 2024, Solo dumped every explicit video I'd ever exchanged with Rose onto Kiwi Farms. One of these videos allegedly showed Pixie and I engaged in a sexual act, and she
it does. So, I mean, there's that.
Subsequently messaged me and informed me of the leak. When Pixie posted on her Substack that she had to contact me about the situation first, this was the first time I was actually even made aware that explicit material of me involving others was being posted on Kiwi Farms. I think she puts this in here. Note, I had to contact him.
By the way, I do think Destiny knew pretty quickly because he was very active in his Kiwi Farms thread. I was looking through it and he posted a lot. He had an official account. It was verified to be him. And he actually was like responsive in his Kiwi Farms thread, which is pretty rare. So I'm very sure a guy who's responding in his own thread, and he was responding quickly in his own thread, probably was monitoring it. I don't believe I didn't know about it. I mean, you were an active contributor to the thread. I'm sure you were watching it.
About the situation before he sent me this message. I think I was in the shower when I got this DM and I didn't even realize it had been posted, but okay. Time passes. I contacted a law firm in New York and began to pursue legal action relating to the revenge porn incident. Pixie made it clear that she did not want to be identified in any way in these leaks, and it's just retweeting the same messages. I agreed, and I spoke nothing at all of it publicly and continued to work and stream while pursuing my legal cases in the background. All of my communications with Pixie over the—
I want to see his case. Where's his case? Why hasn't he filed yet? What, like, I want to see that. You know, I really do. I'm ready for, you know, what he's going to say is defamation, because clearly that's what he's going to bring, who he's going to bring it against, what he's going to try to bring. I really want to see the Destiny case.
Next week pertained to removal of the material and pursuing actions against the leaker. I think I just like selectively went through some of these, but basically it's just me, like, how to report comments, like stuff if you want it removed, her asking me about updates on the law firm, asking me about updates about getting it removed from Kiwi Farm, stuff like this. Basically, it's all of our communications.
Well, that's not going to happen. So yeah, good luck with that.
Escalation. On December 11th, two strange things happened. Lauren Hayden, someone I hadn't had contact with for months, messaged me to tell me how much she hated me. On December 11th.
Oh, that's Lauren De Laguna. So he's like doxing her real name. So like subtle, once again, subtle little jabs there from Destiny, like doxing Lauren De Laguna, giving her real name and then dropping it in there.
What you did was evil. I have never hated anyone.
And of course, Lauren is a lawyer as well. I think she like just passed the bar. She's like a baby lawyer.
So much. That same day, just a few hours earlier, Pixie messaged me, informing me that she was planning on committing suicide in some manner in which she would—
Some of the chat says her name's already public. I get it. But once again, you know, if someone chooses to go by a moniker and you're actively not honoring that, I mean, it's one thing in a court document. Obviously, if it's in a filing, that's one thing. But saying her name's out there somewhere, I didn't know it. That's the first time I saw it. So, you know, there's that. And I've been on stream with her, I think, before, and I know her. I met her in person before. I didn't know her real name.
Expose me after taking her own life.
Oh, her YouTube, she changed her YouTube name? Okay, well, there you go. All right, that's true. I didn't know, though.
Her message to me was, "Hi, Steven. As my life on this earth comes to a close, I want to ask you to please be more careful with the people who place their trust in you in the future. Life is unfair, but you should do your best in preventing that, not contributing to it." I said, hold up there. What's up? I wasn't actually sure if this was a super serious message or not because I'd never seen anything like this before from her, but I'm just tired of living anymore. It's a matter of time until my family discovers what happened, and I feel like there is no way to obtain justice. I don't want to bring a case against you, but I think you'll continue to send nudes to people even without their consent. Bringing a case against you would mean going public, which is the equivalent of a death sentence for me either way. So I feel like the best thing to do is for me to kill myself and schedule a post just detailing my feelings on what happened to try to ensure a situation like this doesn't.
And that's where I'll push a little bit on Pixie there. I don't like the suicide baiting. I think that's, and by the way, I said the word, so we're going to be demonetized. So please like the stream. But I don't like that. I think that's not good. Should not do that. Right. That's one thing I'll put a little bit on her. I mean, putting that into a message.
Doesn't happen again. I'm not going to kill myself at this second. I'm trying to get some things in order before I end everything. But I don't see a future where I survive for much longer. It's better to end things sooner than later and stop the pain than to let it continue. Up until this point, all of our conversations had been almost exclusively focused on removing any material of her on her behalf and updating her on any legal progress, so these messages were very out of character. As a brief aside, Lauren Hayden is someone who's had bitter feelings towards me after we refused to date her about a year ago. She lies constantly, claiming that we dated, sometimes for as long as 9 months. I don't know why she keeps posting stuff like this. Aren't you guys up with the fact you got smashed by Kummer Gremlin Destiny? How does it feel to get done by the little midget?
Oh, okay. So there's like, is this real? I don't know. I mean, did she confirm that? I don't know whether or not she's confirmed. Nope. Willingly did it for 9 months of dating and breakups. Okay. So I guess there's a confirmed relationship there. All right. Didn't know that one.
Nope, willingly did it for 9 months of dating him. Breakups happen. Did people forget this? Brad was begging, blah, blah, blah. We dated for 9 months, and he took our conversations out of context when I broke up with him. You can believe a liar if you wish. I don't know why. Oh, I'm sorry. I do know why she's, if this was last year, she's doing this because if Lauren is involved in something personally, she cannot help but constantly talk about it publicly as well. You can always tell like what Lauren is up to in her personal life based on who she's tweeting at, because that's just...
probably, yeah. And once again, someone in the chat said it, none of this shit matters outside of his public image. Like Lauren and her personality has nothing to do with the case. Like his comments about Lauren are not going to help the case at all. That like in their relationship or how they went and how she is, right? First of all, I mean, you have to take some accountability for your personal relationships. If you're dating somebody, you chose to date them, right? And they chose to date you, right? So you're both accountable for that bad choice there as part of your life. Also, Mazrova Palma with 10. Thank you so much for that, Mazrova. Thank you so much. Thank you. Rigo said, but dreaming about the long nap is fun, Andrew. Don't deny us this. Only kidding. I'm only hearing Destiny beating around the bush and trying to make up dumb excuses. Well, let's give him a chance to speak here. But so far, none of this is like been absolving so far. Shalom Kassan says, this chat is for my respect that you use real words like suicide instead of dumbing it down and using YouTube as something to coverage. I wish I could say those words. I do change that word. I use self-delete sometimes if I don't want to be demonetized, but we have been hit almost on every stream when ever I would say that word, because YouTube doesn't like talking about it, even in the context of a legal case, which this is clearly not intended to glorify support or anything else, but they'll still ding us for it. It just is what it is. YouTube is weird.
Just the kind of person she is. And I guess her DMing me as well. I've already posted evidence of this in the past. I think that tweet even included like a video that I'd done on this. I've already posted evidence of this past. Here's an additional conversation I had with a mutual friend last year to put that claim to rest. Lauren came to a hotel room where me and another streamer person were having a conversation basically about her. And then she was very sad, I guess, that we weren't dating, and we were trying to figure out like what was like the gentlest way to deal with her. Mm-hmm. But this is that conversation, I guess, and she keeps saying that we were dating. This is that person saying, was I too aggressive, Lauren? I don't care about you. Oh, that's sweet. I don't think so. I'm really glad you brought up some far stuff in front of me, though, with me in the room, so I could clearly demonstrate that she twists stuff like crazy regarding her. Just demonstrating that Lauren fucking lies about everything in person when she's upset. This is just basically a conversation about how...
And see, this is... And I'll say one thing, too. This is where, just in general, right? I'm not saying what he said so far is necessarily defamatory, but this is where creators get in trouble, and this is why they shouldn't do these streams. While he's getting worked up and talking about she's a liar, everything she says is a lie, this is how you go down a road of just accidentally defaming somebody, right? So you're like talking, you're getting worked up, you're getting mad, then you defame somebody because you say something that might constitute defamation. And this is why these streams are a bad idea, because whereas Lauren De Laguna may have no claim against him at all whatsoever, if he goes off and he says something defamatory just because he's mad, which, you know, reasonably he would be mad. I mean, even if, no matter what the circumstance is, of course you're mad when someone sues you, right? That's why you shouldn't go and speak about it on a live, right? Especially with you're unfiltered and someone can, take that word or take that phrase out of context and ended up being defamatory. Not that he said anything necessarily defamatory so far. Calling someone a liar, not defamation, but it's a dangerous road. And that's why you just should be quiet in general. Kieran said, don't stream while drunk. That's a very good rule. It's a very good rule. Economath for 5 says, since you're going to get what Viva calls the yellow check mark of sadness. That's true. It's true. Sparky's text quarter for 499 says, if Destiny wants to spool his own rope out, possibly tanking his dream defense, I will gladly watch a popcorn. Yeah, look, I let the people do the dumb stuff. I mean, I'm not going to slide into his DMs and tell him he's being a legal idiot. I've said that enough already, and I've said multiple times that he shouldn't say much about it, but, here we go. Emo Warrior, remember, for 29 months, is lurking, laughing, and keep up the good work. Thank you, Emo Warrior. And Rain Nation, April Rain, says, his voice and debates suck, but oh my God, what is going on with his jaw? Coke? Still can't believe that much. He gets that much action. Looks like he never showers. Well, once again, the jaw is hinged for both men and women. Let's continue.
Kind of like, I don't want to say, but no, I will actually say it about how pathetic Lauren's situation was. She was like becoming fairly obsessive with me since I'd broken up with Melina, and then had decided that she was going to try to date me. And then when I gave her a firm no, it was like, and basically she went nuclear at that point. And yeah, it's just, we were all silent when she said that in the car. Oh yeah, because she was talking to 2 streamer people. I don't know if I'll give their names. If she wants to deny this, I can invoke those people and they can say something publicly about it. But anyway, just that's our history, I guess. Since threats of suicide from Pixie were now involved, I reached out to a mutual friend, Aaron.
Aaron Amolti? Was it Aaron Amolti? I'll let this play. Hold on. My alarm's going off.
Okay, yeah, I have no clue to say or do. How much did she tell you? And then I pasted our conversation. And she says, I'm surprised she told you. To be honest, she didn't respond to this, or did she delete it? No, if she responded and deleted, I didn't see, but I'm pretty sure she just didn't respond. She's not doing well, and she had made all the wrong moves in response to this. I told her to do nothing and not reply to people. I said, I don't think she's done anything too bad or anything, like just privating her stuff for a bit was fine. She said, people have sent me stuff that she said to them in DMs. She's denying it in private and DMing people to stop talking about it because it's not her. I said, oh, well, I mean, if it's helping her process stuff or whatever, it's okay, unless she's just blowing it up or making it worse or something. She said, Aaron says, she went into spicy chat and said their comments make her want to kill herself a few days ago. She had told me she would do it if her parents found out because I suggested reaching out to family members that could be trusted to give her emotional support, but she's not really talking to people. Loner messaged me asking if I'd heard from her because she hasn't been messaging. I responded to the comment about spicy chat and I said, that is bad. Yeah. Then I messaged her tonight and she said, then I messaged her tonight and that's when she said she thinks that's what she needs to do. I said, well, fuck, I feel like going over there or asking her to just hang out for obvious reasons. I feel stupid going over there or asking her to hang out for obvious reasons, but I don't really know what else I can do or if I'm even a person who can offer support. Aaron says, I don't know how she views you. When she told me, I wondered if I should tell you and ask you for help, but if she sees you as an abuser, then it seems like the ultimate betrayal to do that. Same with telling her family, blah, blah, blah. This is basically just like, I'm trying to figure out like, okay, well, is there anything I can do? You need to calm the fuck down. Why? Stop. Ooh. Okay, whatever.
While he has a cat interruption, I'll do this. Thank you, Kieran, for the 5. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for those early morning 5 for me. 5:30 a.m. here in Bangkok, and I've got like 20 minutes left of this, so we'll get as far as we can get. Armin says he started with a script and chose to yap. Yeah, a lot of this, once again, he's editorializing and giving extra comments. He's not reading line by line. If you wanted to do this as a statement, right, and just kind of go through and go through line by line, that would be one thing. But remember, I don't think the lawyer got a transcript of his commentary that he's going to give on DMs. This is all ad lib, all just off the cuff.
I have no clue what I can rectify. These are actions I'm taking legally. And then Aaron says, this is pure speculation, but I wonder if she was seeing if you'd even reply or if you'd go silent when she sent me that one message. The suicide one. My understanding at the time was that Aaron was an incredibly close friend of Pixie and so sought her advice on what I could do to help. I spoke with Aaron while the both of us tried to console Pixie. Aaron eventually suggested, approving the exact message even, that I offer her money to help cover at least her therapy or perhaps even payments towards law school.
And here's another thing too about these DMs. I'll let him pull this one up. But see how he's cutting them? See how he's cutting them out? You know what's going to happen in the court case is it's something called like the rule of completeness. So they're going to need that whole log. So they're going to need the whole log. And I guarantee there's other stuff in here that may bring some context and some light to this conversation that is clipped out or cut out. So that's one thing that now he's made this, subject to a discovery request. Obviously, he's going to, have to pull the whole log here, and the whole thing is going to come out for, both sides to read. So there's probably stuff that's been clipped out here. Otherwise, it would just be one continuous conversation. You could scroll down, but instead it's been cut it out. So, there's going to be other stuff in there. No, we don't know what that is. Maybe it's innocuous. Maybe it's innocent. Maybe there's no problem there. But, this would not be evidence entered into court like this. Destiny's cropping is not going to, or anybody's cropping. It's not about Destiny. It's not personal. I have nothing personal for or against Destiny. I'm very apathetic about Destiny. This is not the way it's going to come up in court.
Yeah, maybe not. I don't know what else to do. Money, or dollar signs, fucking offer to cover therapy or some shit. I don't know her employment situation, but I don't think it's good. You really think so? LOL, I have zero problem with that. I thought about it, but it feels super ultra scummy, or like I'm just trying to buy off her feeling bad or something. But obviously 1,000,000%, I would absolutely do this. Yes, I really think so. LOL, she mentioned pursuing a case against you in that first screenshot you sent me, and this isn't a crime that's punishable jail as far as I know. So unless she thought it did, or some other punitive measure she thought would deter you, I'm going to assume she was considering doing it for financial damages. I asked her what was an appropriate way of approaching her about it. And she said being honest and front loading it with genuinely not being able to rectify it neutrally because of the obvious conflict of interest, but you'd like to try, and that it's something you do if it would help her. Therapy costs for sure. If you're really feeling generous on to do their law school pursuits, like year one or something. I don't know how far you're willing to help, but I see it as offering her something to look forward to in her immediate future. That is a goal she was working towards in the midst of all this, and it would be a reminder that her life isn't over because of this, not even close. And I said, what law school?
So if that's what you wanted to do, then you'd have some sort of settlement, right? You'd have some sort of agreement to settle this, saying, hey, he's going to pay for XYZ, therapy, law school, whatever, in exchange for her dropping this and kind of, moving on and moving ahead.
She's going to go to is one of the only things stopping her from going or something. I'm not sure, but she owes me $147 and is having to pay it back to me in installments because she can't afford the payments all at once. So I'm pretty sure there are hefty financial constraints for her right now. Okay, wait, hold on.
This is on 1.25x, so he speaks fast. He speaks very fast.
$147. Yeah, because when I move, blah blah blah, and this is just based on her financial situation. And then I post this message here to her. This was super lame, and I don't want to imply that somehow just giving you money helps anything go away or fixes everything for you. But if you have any bills or owe money or anything or have any financial stuff I can help with, I can at the very least chip in and help you with any of that. So it's at least one less thing you have to worry about or stress over while you're worrying and getting through this. Sorry. Do you think this is okay? Yes, I think it would only be skeevy to do this if you're like, can I give you money so you don't take legal action against me? Please, thank you, smiley face. Maybe, yeah. Okay.
By the way, the majority of you said that you do not listen to Destiny, or that listening to him is like, is less preferable than walking over broken glass. Seamus, Vic Inus, says, great coverage, Hentai Pope. Thank you. Walter Millen says, who needs discovery when you can drop a manifesto? That doesn't count. That doesn't count. BG Corporation for 5 says, ever since someone mentioned his chin, I noticed he talks with his mouth moving sideways from time to time. That's all you see. It's weird. Yeah, I mean, when people try to mock you, which they will, and people mock me, people mock everybody, you can acknowledge that and like try to do something different, which kind of just plays into it and encourages them to mock you more, or you can just ignore it. Right? Aussie Overlord, an actual lawyer in Australia for 5 Aussie bucks, says any decent lawyer representing him is sitting watching saying, shut up. Oh, I can't believe you won't shut the fuck up. Yeah, he's doing the meme right now. NZ for €5 says, considering the culture of face and stricter laws in Korea, could Hank ever come after you for saying that him and Somalia are together like defamation? He's already suing me for defamation. So, I mean, he could try, but his whole claim is problematic. But that's a whole separate topic for a separate stream.
Aaron eventually suggested approving the exact message, even that I offer her money to help cover at least her therapy or perhaps even payments towards law school. After sending the message, Aaron approved to Pixie. Pixie rejected it in what I thought was an odd manner. So this was me sending the message to her. She replies, it's more complicated than that. I feel like there's no justice for what's been done. I feel like people for the rest of my life are going to try to send it to my family or workplace or wherever I go. I feel extremely violated with how so many people saw me non-consensually in a vulnerable position. I feel like people are always going to use this as proof that I slept my way into whatever achievement I garner. I feel like it's evidence that everything would be better with me gone. And then she replied to my specific suggestion with, I feel like whatever I ask you to cover will be too high a price too, and then I'm going to feel even worse over it. And then the rest is me, I think, just kind of consoling her.
Which
She said
none
that
of it has legal relevance to whether or not all these statements are not legally relevant to whether or not the leaks were consensual, how they happened, whether they're violations of Florida law. Like him offering to pay for law school or consoling her wouldn't necessarily wouldn't absolve any of that or change the elements of that crime.
Whatever amount she'd asked
Sorry,
for,
of that civil cause of action, because it's not, this particular one is not criminal yet.
be too high, despite me not yet mentioning a dollar amount. At this point, I noticed her language was also taking a sharply pointed and more deliberate tone, with words like justice, non-consensual, and vulnerable showing up for the first time in our messages almost 2 weeks out from when the original leaks actually happened. I was trying to walk an impossibly fine line with my conversations with Pixie, balancing a few key things. I was concerned for her well-being and mental health, but I wasn't sure what she was getting at with her claim of me not giving her as much money as she'd want. I was also trying to comfort her in regards to the leaks without downplaying or minimizing what she was feeling, a concern I communicated with Aaron at the time. I want to send Pixie this thread and tell her that there are tons of people talking homophobically, and a few that mention Lauren, but none mentioning her, but I don't know if this comes off as me minimizing her complaints or not, LOL. If you could minimize it, that would be good, actually, then she wouldn't think about it as much. Aaron informed me that Pixie was settling on a figure, hinting that she would ask me to pay
Homophobia, also not a crime. Just real quick, not illegal.
For her law school tuition. Notably, no actual figure was ever sent to me for consideration. Aaron messaging Pixie, how are you feeling this morning? I feel better. I feel somber, but
real quick, this is a giant one. Akasupa, $100. Thank you so much, Zodiac Attack, for the 100. Here's the help with demonetization. Next Red Bulls on me. Cheers, happy flying. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Thanks for supporting the stream. Thanks for supporting this coverage. Glad you guys like this and enjoy it. Thank you. Smash a like button. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Norbert Frolik says Destiny is trying to control his own destiny. I see what you did there, Norbert. And Alpha O says, when did Destiny get a goatee? He aged from stress. If you look at this man over the last year, he has aged like 10 years in 1 year. He looks like he's wearing stress.
But not suicidal right now. That's good. Well, not good. I'm sorry you're still somber, of course, but an improvement. Did you reply to Steven? Yeah, we got into an argument back and forth on why I shouldn't kill myself. I haven't replied to his last message or asked him to cover my tuition. I don't think he would do that if I asked him. LOL, okay, I need to think on that. Like, entire tuition for law school is like $200K, X-Face. I told her to make the request and y'all can negotiate from there. I don't know what law school she wants to go to. If it's like Harvard, then yeah, the whole thing being covered is probably not happening. If it's a state school in Florida, that's another story. First, she needs to actually apply and get in. That will give you time to think about the amount as well. I said, okay, we'll keep in mind.
Yeah, University of Florida would be like $40K a year. So, I mean, reasonable. I mean, if he's got the money.
On the same day that she was expressing her thoughts of suicidality to me, she began to aggressively fight with trolls online about subject matter that seemed to be begging for people to bring attention to the recently leaked material. On that same day, December 12th, why do people think the woman body is automatically sexual? Why is it considered morally higher to be covered up? Why does other people sexualizing me makes my body a moral dilemma? Even Aaron agreed that this was a crazy Twitter battle to engage in at the time, and it seemed especially strange given that Pixie told me 8 hours earlier she was still receiving DMs related to the leaks, was petrified of her parents finding out what had happened, and would kill herself if it ever got that far. Bro, why fight about this today of all days? She's so brave. Yeah, I don't know if
Welcome,
brave is
Garrett,
the right
and
word.
Thank you for the 20 Legal Mindset memberships. Thank you so much. We got to keep rolling here because I'm limited on time, but thank you so much, Garrett.
These were her messages to me earlier. I feel like part of the reason why I'm still freaked out about it is because it's been 2 weeks and I still have people commenting on my socials and DMs about it. I feel like Andrew and his fan base as well have some other psychos hate me for being a woman who disagrees with them, and that they'll use
Andrew? Which Andrew? Not me. Definitely at this point I wasn't involved in this, so not this Andrew. I wonder which Andrew. Chat, do you know which Andrew?
it during any opportunity they can to cause harm to me. But maybe I'm wrong. And then this is just us going back and forth over don't kill yourself, basically. And then that she'll never have a job again. You don't think it's realistic that someone might fire me over this, that I might lose whatever future career I work in because the office passed around my sex tape?
That would make sense. Andrew Wilson would make sense.
I was now in an impossible position. Hold on. I was now in an impossible position. A revenge point of me was still being blasted across the internet with family members, including my 13-year-old son, being spammed with explicit videos of me, sometimes even by popular social media personalities like Justin Minks.
I'll I'll leave out commentary of how much Destiny cares about cares about his kid. It's neither you guys can make up your own mind on that one.
I love that. I guess it's because I'm a guy at school. I'm trying to get better, but the image of Destiny sucking that cock is ruining it. Based. And then this is
there's some things I can't unsee, and I've perused the Kiwi Farms thread, and I can't unsee it. And by the way, look at the chat. The chat is asking, did the lawyer approve this?
Just her casually, replying to tweets of mine. It's good.
That's by the way, I think that was him engaging in fellatio.
Getting some good Twitter engagement here. Not that anybody gives a fuck because she's a girl and I'm a guy, but it's all good. That she has a 1.4 million follower account and it didn't matter, but all right. Multiple large social media accounts were covering it, with Kiwi Farms bragging in a tweet that a surge of visitors consuming the revenge porn of me required a database rollback. And now, on top of everything, Pixie was coupling threats of suicide in a public note with an implied request for hundreds of thousands of dollars from me to make things right for her. The surge of traffic to the Kiwi Farms related to Destiny's blowjob videos caused a fatal database error, and I will need to do a rollback to a recent backup.
This is factual, though. I mean, the site went down. I mean, that's they're pretty much giving a factual statement here. Once again, I think his case against the farms would not go well.
No contact. At some point after our conversation on the 12th of December, Pixie removed me as a friend from Discord. From that point onwards, a small bit of communication happened between two mutual friends. One of them communicated with me that Pixie needed me to suffer in order for me to understand that I'd committed a wrong, so I hadn't already suffered enormously due to the explosive coverage that already existed of my leaked material. They said to Pixie, if you ever wanted someone to suffer or be dead, my first instinct is to say no, but I feel like an unfortunate byproduct of getting justice from Steven would result in some level of suffering, so I guess the answer is yes. Are you wanting him to suffer, or do you want justice there? I want justice. If I could have justice without the suffering, that would be optimal, but I'm just not sure if possible. She also communicated to a friend that she was essentially ready and waiting to kill herself based on whether or not I responded favorably to paying out a massive amount of money. I think I'm going to decide my next course of action of what to do with myself and him based on how that conversation goes. A conversation my friend was going to have with me. Unless if you decide you don't want to talk to him, that's okay too. Basically, I have my plans / course of action paused, and we'll choose something depending on if he agrees that he has to make up / repent for the action and wants to work with me to find a way to do that, or if he doesn't feel that way. I don't want to talk to him myself because I feel like I tried explaining what I was feeling and he didn't really understand. I also have a little anxious voice in my brain telling me to prepare for the worst because he probably won't care or doesn't care enough to willingly try to make up for his mistakes. And that means I'll have to start thinking of more extreme / nuclear options to deal with, but I'm trying to avoid spiraling down that line of thought because I'm trying to hold out for hope. And just not to scare you, I'm 100% not going to do anything to myself, no matter what he says during the holiday season, because I don't want to traumatize my friends during a time that's supposed to be happy. And even if he responds negatively, it doesn't mean I'll auto-kill myself. I'm trying to contemplate all different courses of actions, including going public, and then, if I can't take the amount of humiliation, then killing myself. Versus my plan before of scheduling a note for after I die. I'm still also looking into lawyers, but I just want to see what he says.
Once again, I don't like or support. I think I need to say it because YouTube, the algo is gonna pick up this. Once again, do not condone that at all whatsoever, or any discussion of that or thought about that. You should never consider that. Period. But once again, her waxing and waning on whether or not to sue doesn't invalidate a claim in and of itself. So this I don't see the point of this in terms of anything legally, in terms of the public statement and this portion of it negating the complaint. It doesn't. It just shows that she was in a fragile state of mind and that she was indecisive.
Before deciding to do any nuclear option. Can I share this with Steven? He communicated to me that he knows he fucked up. There is no excuse at all. He doesn't know what he can do to make it up for you. I'm trying to bridge between help, blah, blah, blah. Can I share this with him? You can share this with him, or you can share this in anything you want with him. I feel like when we talked, you really understood where I was coming from and can hopefully explain this better than I can. She reiterated that I needed to face consequences for my actions, claiming that she was on a mission to make this the most expensive mistake of my life. Again, despite the insane amount of harassment I had already received regarding the leaked material. My friend had listed out what is it exactly you want. Yeah, because the only problem is number 3, because even with removal of the video and getting the guy charged, Steven has to face consequences proportional to his actions. I want this to be the most expensive mistake of his life, and I'm essentially asking him to self-punish himself in a way I don't think he will like or agree to without the law involved.
Look, there's a difference. See, he's confusing here. I think Destiny's making a very fatal error. You can want to sue somebody for punishment. In fact, that's one of the, the thought patterns behind criminal punishment, right? Is, hey, this is, a retributive, right? This is kind of retribution. This is payback for what you did to somebody else, right? There's also rehabilitation. That's another theory. But you can have a motive of punishing somebody via a lawsuit. That in and of itself does not negate the lawsuit. What would is if she knew it was a frivolous lawsuit and she was told, hey, this is frivolous, or she was saying, hey, I know I have nothing. I know this is all made up. I know it's bullshit, but I'm suing anyways. But I don't see that here. I see somebody who has a motive for perhaps for punishing him, but that is not impermissible.
Involved. I don't have a dollar amount from the top of my head. It just has to be enough that for the rest of his life, if he thinks of the word nude, he associates it with the amount of money he lost. Obviously, I don't want to make him destitute, but it should be large enough that he does feel upset about it and is not easily recoverable. She said that
someone in the chat mentioned this is very good. Lawsuits come from both good and bad places, right? So you can come, your impetus behind a lawsuit, you can come to the courthouse with anger in your heart or justice in your heart. I mean, that's not really dispositive to the cause of action.
Offer to simply pay some bills, possibly to the tune of $200, though I had absolutely no idea where she ever got that figure from. Yeah, honestly, I feel comfortable sending him these messages and asking him, what does he think this would look like if you're telling me that he is comfortable with the idea of proportional penance and how that would look like. I just feel like he didn't understand when he said he would pay some bills for me, because it makes me feel like he's telling me, oh, I'm sorry that happened. Here's $200. Hope you feel better, which I think really underestimates the gravity of the situation, to put it lightly, and somehow makes me feel like a cheap prostitute, or it makes me feel like that's how severe he perceives his actions to be, LOL. After assurances from my friend that I was willing to pay a lot more than she had originally thought, she informed me that she was finally ready to reach out to me, using this conversation as a starting point. I think he was worried you would feel he's paying for your silence, but did want to help but didn't want to overstep. I think he's offering a lot more than how you read it, but I totally understand why you read it that way. Okay, that makes me feel a lot better. I think I'm ready to reach out to him, using this conversation as a starting point, if you're okay with that. Like, I'll send him the conversation/texts so he can see where I'm coming from. Sure, but what I would outline isn't a clear ask, but a question of what you feel you need from him and what he's willing to give. Yeah, that makes sense. I really hope we can figure out a compromise and what works for both of us. At this point, mutual friends tell me that she's expecting between $500,000 to $1 million as just compensation for her suffering, though I hadn't...
It's not unreasonable based on the accusations, the amount of claims, the cause of action. So, once again, expecting 500K, yeah, that's not unreasonable from Destiny. Not at all. Real quick, Extreme Happy Sinner? Simmer says for 10 for extra content, the woman he's chatting with about Pixie, Aaron/Erudite, is business partners with Destiny, and her green card to the US depends on her employment with them. Yeah, that would be something that you'd put her on the stand and you'd ask her that. To the extent you'd even need her, you probably don't need her, but let's say you did, you would definitely bring that up. You would definitely bring that up on cross-examination.
Seen that in writing anywhere yet. At this point, I felt incredibly uncomfortable establishing any direct contact. Threats of suicide, paired with requests for huge sums of money that seemed to hinge directly on whether or not I was willing to self-punish enough, paired with threats to expose me publicly if I wasn't willing to make the right choice, left me in a very rough position. I was still dealing with the mountains of harassment my family and I were receiving, 5-figure legal fees in my pursuit against the original leaker, and now I was facing a decision about whether or not I needed to fork over some huge sum of money to prevent someone from either killing themselves or exposing me to the public. D-Day. On January 20th, 2025, while flying back from the studio to New York, I was notified that 2 videos were going live that seemed to be centered on recent events. A video titled Destiny, Predator Unmasked by Cope and Seethe, and Exposing the Destiny Abuse Machine by President Sunday.
I did not know that one of the videos was by Cope and Seethe. No. You
are coping and seething. You
just had to play a little bit of that. I mean, come on, that's too perfect.
These videos included a multitude of messages between different parties behind the scenes that I was totally unaware recorded with each other. In addition to these 2 videos, Pixie dropped her Substack statement about me. Lauren Hayden launched a Give, Send, Go for Pixie in order to raise funds to sue me, and other members of the Anti-Fan Discord made claims about me, sharing material on Twitter. All of these events happened within 12 hours of each other. Basically, every internet friend I had publicly denounced me. Other streamers and YouTubers responded almost instantly to cover the statements, and a slew of videos went up with a variety of claims about me, the worst of them heavily implying I was a rapist.
So I will say, yeah, okay. this is me, and I'm not defending Destiny, but this is where I'm going to come against content creators. This is too soon. Okay, this is at this point defamatory, because he's not been charged with this criminal act. This is a very specific criminal act, and he's not been charged with that at all. He's been charged with releasing pictures. That is not that same crime. So this is one. Once again, I try to be fair. I try to get both sides. I mean, people that may think I'm a little rough on. I'm being unfair to Destiny. No, this is where I'm saying, look, content creators cannot go out and put that because that's not at play here. There's no charge for that. So he could turn around and jujitsu people who have this up. And if you're a content creator and you have one of these things up, you should not have that up. That is not okay, right? He can sue you, right? Whether or not it's, you can argue the morality or what is and is not constituting that word, but that's a crime. That's the name of that is a crime. That is defamatory. If it is not true, which in this case, there's no proof that he committed that specific crime. That's not at stake in this case yet, right? Unless somebody else comes out, files something. That's not what we have here yet, right? So I'll put that as the asterisk.
All of this included all of this also refreshed the attention on all of the leaked material, mine and Pixie's included, and brought awareness of it to a much, much wider audience than ever before, leading to an exponential increase of harassment across every social media platform I'm on. Lav, someone who proudly spread revenge porn of me in the past and admitted to it. How dare I want the person who made my life hell for a year want to be humiliated? What the heck is wrong with me? It was advantageous for that to be leaked publicly, but it never was. This is in regards to something that happened like 6 months ago, where supposedly some material of mine had leaked onto a Discord server. I didn't want to get in trouble, and I felt bad doing it, so I didn't. And I encouraged Nico Sam to spread it and not get caught because I thought it was deserved. It's not a felony to send a picture of a leaked sex tape to your friend, bro, Limfeo. We were drawing things on it, my dick, back and forth like the Doom Worm. I sent it to people who Nico had already sent it to, supposedly. I made a screen grab of his foreskin, my profile pic, and a private Discord server. That's it. I wasn't sending it around. I got a picture from a random person on Discord. What? That's a zoomed in image of the image of your cock she was sending. Base.
Okay. I love how based is applied for like the left and the right now. Like all these terms have been like co-opted because there's no like leftist term of base. Like what's the leftist term of base? Soy, oh man, soy. Real quick, Will from Texas for 5. Since you're from the area, is it possible a local DA opens a revenge porn case maybe after discovery for the civil? Yeah, if there's discovery that shows stuff that would be criminal and there's enough evidence for that, sure, maybe. But once again, I think we need discovery before the criminal stuff comes out, or at least some more time or other people's stories and allegations from their point of view.
Girl, LOL. Made a grand return to Justical stream. Justical also began to reach out to other women, some of who had been sexually harassed by members of his own Discord server, to see if any of them wanted to come on and make a statement about me. I didn't decide to include all the messages here, but him to on it. If you're around, shoot me a message. Are you aware of what's going on with Destiny? Justical reached out to quite a few people, we'll say. People everywhere began to speculate that every insane narrative about me was true, or I'm sorry. People everywhere began to speculate that every insane narrative about me that had ever been spun had now been prophetically fulfilled, and I crashed on my couch for 3 days to contemplate retirement. Also, Justical banned Lav from his server because he realized how bad the optics were while he was trying to farm me. I just thought it was funny as the main cover of a lot of this.
Well, I mean, look, if you're being accused of something, yeah, maybe you need some time off the internet. It is not bad to take a couple days off. That's not a sin there. High Dragonstar said, would lawyers charge an option to monitor stream? His lawyers should have been watching and message him in the back and tell him to shut up. They were not. They were not. I guarantee they were not watching. Come on. No, there's no way. And most likely the lawyers will say we had no idea he did that. And then they'll give him a call tomorrow and be like, hey, did you stream? And he's like, yeah. Like, that wasn't a good idea.
Here's the first thing is that JSTLK already knew about this before yesterday. We talked about it slightly. And he said that, it was different to what Destiny did, but it was like still bad. And so he didn't want me on stream talking about the Destiny allegations anymore. I was like, you know what? I get it. Whatever. Like, I get it. Like, whatever. Even though it's like completely different than what Steven did. it like, I don't want to. It's like bad optics.
Picking up the pieces. Seeing the number of people and schemes revealed initially made me incredibly paranoid about who I could trust that wasn't mining our conversations for some sort of confession or blackmail material. Just to go messaging, hey, I really don't want to pry. Some stuff came out with respect to Pixie. I don't want to talk about it anywhere, but just asking if you're aware. What do I do? Just say yes, as in, yeah, I'm aware. President Sunday, say nothing. Give him a night to possibly think to say something else. Tomorrow, say yes and ask why. That's my advice. I don't know, advice word. Reason being is that everybody at the moment, I think, just feels weirdly one of the few in trust at the moment. I'm so frustrated with her, but I don't see how getting upset with her for doing this will lead to anything other than making her feel bad. Oh, it won't do anything. You're going to have to let her torch herself and then pat her shoulder after the consequences of her own actions ruin her year. The smart move actually would be to maneuver as a victim of Stephen and put those people currently jumping down her throat on her side, but outraged about the fact of the leak and make that the scandal instead of, ooh, Pixie, no.
So okay. Well, once again, I don't see any of this doing anything for his case at all. Once again, what people talking about the case between each other, talking about theories, talking about ideas, talking about like what she should or should not do, how she should position herself, particularly since Pixie is not part of this conversation. Even if these people spoke to her or, talked to her, them giving their opinion or their strategy or whatever else doesn't really change anything in the lawsuit that's before us.
Nice. Kyla's being snaky about this. Pixie contacted her and was kind of trying to use her as a liaison. I told her Kyla can't be trusted.
The chat said it. The only thing it does is set a narrative for his community. That's it. So it sets a narrative that his community can run with. That's the only thing that it does do, and that is true.
To help with that, Dan contacted Pixie a few weeks ago. According to what she told me, basically said, ask Stephen for a reasonable amount of money, and he'd probably pay it, plus wanting to convince her not to take legal actions against Kiwi Farms, which he's considering. You up for a call later tonight? Blah, 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 blah. Let's talk tomorrow. I'm going to talk with someone I trust. That's good. This is blackmail. Tell her under no circumstances to do this. Dan is a fucking moron, or he's trying to sabotage her. Seeing Lauren's name created by Lauren Reben Hayden.
I guess
seeing Lauren's name pop up on Pixie's Substack confirmed to me that there was significant coordination going on in the background between her and Pixie,
which is not illegal or a problem.
At least. And seeing Aaron and President Sunday talking and scheming so much made me wonder what everyone's ultimate goal was.
I mean, you should be aware if there's this type of lawsuit, all of your enemies will work against you, and there's nothing stopping all of your enemies from collecting and working against you. That's not illegal either, pretty much at all. Roy London for 5 says Destiny is a debate bro who thinks he can talk his way out of anything. And actually, Spectre Von Baron for 10, this is actually very much on point. I very much agree with this. See, the problem with people like Destiny is that they are pretty smart, but they think they're even smarter than that, and it leads to a huge head, aka being an overconfident jerk. Yeah, that was kind of like the Rackety Crackets, right? Like he has a brain on him, but he thinks that he's right. He thinks that his legal theories are the shit, and that he's the law god, and Destiny's the same way. He thinks because he Wikipedia'd something or he Googled it or put it into an AI that he suddenly is a lawyer, knows everything. And it's like, no, that's not really how it works.
Pixie going public was something I hadn't heavily considered because it seemed to worsen both of our positions on virtually every front. Her part in the leaked material had been virtually unknown up to that point, and she had also proclaimed several times up to this point that she would kill herself if her parents discovered her role in it. I think if it was public info that you were taking legal action, 99% of people who come across it would assume it was because of your own videos and not even know about the other stuff, to be honest. I follow the bottom feeders and drama frogs who discuss all of this stuff, and very few people have even mentioned Pixie. I haven't actually heard Melina's name come up once, blah, blah, blah. This guy, Smith, some weird dude. There's nothing she can do about randos on Twitter, but as far as communities that are close to her, it's pretty much a blacklisted topic. She's driving herself crazy because she's clearly name searching herself and just going through Kiwi Farms. Queeman watched the video, and even most of his gay little chat was like, okay, even I didn't know Pixie was involved. What the fuck? Queefman? Did I fuck up? The only thing her going public seemed to accomplish was to make the material far more publicized than it ever would have been otherwise. It also became clear to me that Aaron and President Sunday.
That's debatable. Once again, it was already, I mean, at that point, I think before she went public, it already crashed Kiwi Farms. I think my timeline is right about that. I think it already crashed Kiwi Farms before that. Bald Eagle 1787 for 10 says, Destiny seems to forget the most important thing. It's easy to spin a story when the other side isn't present. The courtroom and deposition are different beasts. He's going to get destroyed. Yeah, I think he's not fully prepared for what's going to go down in at least the depositions, discovery. I don't think he's ready for that.
Weren't the main people Pixie was listening to in the background. Update, nope, haven't heard from her since the 8th, but she's been active, so she's just ignoring me. Well, give it a couple days, or we'll give it a couple days. I'd like for her to update me, and she kind of randomly had been throughout this whole thing, but I think she's annoyed with me. I told her to gently readjust her expectations with money that she could receive in any sort of settlement, plus said the demand letter first wasn't a good idea. Let me know when you're able to talk. Serious development, good development. Oh, I'm not free until tomorrow night to chat. TLDR, should it wait? Urgent, actually. Tell me I can't pass anything to Pixie, though. She's not replying, and I just don't feel comfortable bringing anything about this up to her. That, combined with Lauren's creation of the give, send, go, plus the message she sent me the same night Pixie began to threaten suicide to me, made it more clear to me that Lauren was likely the one guiding her behavior. I think there's just a picture again of her creating that give, send, go. I also felt far more confident in my suspicion that this was all ultimately about extracting the maximum amount of money from me. Pixie had deleted her message to me where she'd even implied a higher dollar amount than what I'd be comfortable with. So we are in our DMs where she said, I feel like whatever I asked you to cover will be too high a price too. And then I'm going to feel even worse over it. This message, the only time we'd ever discussed an actual dollar amount kind of, was deleted now from our DMs. Seemingly tried to cover her tracks by implying that I could donate to a charity while texting a mutual friend. I don't think Stephen faces consequences, he will change it again. If he wants to, he can donate the money to some charity organization. I just think that other than jail, or even more than jail from the studies I read, money is the strongest reinforcer, and losing it is the strongest punishment. Cover her tracks by implying I could donate to a charity while texting a mutual friend. And now I was seeing Aaron telling President Sunday that her suicide threat was done just to get my attention. And the messages here that she had been sending to President Sunday, Aaron says she was threatening to kill herself to him, but she told me this wasn't serious. It was just to get his attention.
Okay, so I'm going to skip ahead to the sharing nudes part because I am limited on time here, and I want to make sure we get to that. Let's skip to that real quick.
The anxiety of having any material like that recorded. If someone still wants to record something after that, I would generally just have them record on their phone for them to keep hold of the material. Other people don't view it as a catastrophe.
Okay, so this is where it's a problem. So he starts to talk about his procedure of recording videos. This is where I don't think a lawyer, I really don't think a lawyer would say, hey, get on a stream and talk about your process for recording videos. A lot of problems with this.
The material leaked, and I've already made recordings of themselves and others and exchanged them with other people. With that out of the way, conversations guessing as to whether or not any of the leaked material was consensually shared was a hot topic of discussion following the initial leaks. Pixie would send messages to people to tell them that she had never sent videos of other people to me before, and she portrayed herself in her Substack as though I was the first person to ever suggest this to her, and I was the first person she ever recorded material with. I know that she's messaged people with stuff like this. This statement and implication, however, are both false. She sent me
once again. I feel like this is kind of par for the course with this, where he's trying to prove her untrustworthy and her wrong, rather than going in and saying, well, I don't meet the criteria of this claim, of her claims, and responding to the legal causes of action. It's really just to target her as a person, her character, right? Rather than actually to make your legal case better. None of this has bolstered his case in any dramatic way or any way that it wouldn't already have been if he'd just shut up, right? So far.
First, I believe after we'd had a debate on some Twitch panel on October 23rd, 2019. She told me multiple times that she was 20 years old.
Okay, so she's
20, right? Yeah.
20,
I'm 20.
That's legal. So there's no problem with that.
By using someone else's body. She also repeatedly claims that the main purpose of the statement was about preventing me from harming other women. If that was the case, why did she contact me at all prior to releasing it? Why was her publishing this statement contingent on my response to her and how much I was willing to pay her? One of the most irritating...
That's fine. That's nothing wrong with that. Once again, there's no problem with saying you won't settle for peanuts. There's no problem with that. That is normal. If you, for example, when I was working corporate law, there were folks that would not settle with us for nothing, right? They would say, no, we want you to pay us $100,000. We're not going to settle for 10 or 20 or 30. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with having a high settlement number or a high bar to not filing a case.
And conspiratorial claims she makes against me is that I was sending material to a person intentionally hoping they would leak.
And yes, this is actually what I think someone in the chat said it. Attack your opponent instead of their arguments. Classic debate, bro. He's using debate tactics where they don't really work. They're not applicable in the law.
What comes from her statement?
The law is not a debate. Courtroom is not a debate.
I don't think I need to explain just how unbelievably baseless, callous, and malicious this point is, as I have suffered irreparable privacy and reputational harm due to all of the publicization of the leaked material. Similarly, I find it both incredulous and ludicrous that she would imply that I was somehow attempting to intimidate her based on comments I'd been making about Hassan. I have never at any point in this process...
Well, Hassan's involved in this again.
Told her that she had no right to take legal action against me, nor denied her any right to pursue whatever justice she felt was reasonable. On the contrary, she has been the one threatening me with going public and with suicide the entire time if I wasn't willing to pay her a massive sum of money.
Once again, that's not illegal to threaten to sue you if you don't pay a massive amount of money. There's nothing wrong with that.
Also manages to twist every conversation we had in the most malicious way possible, claiming that I was downplaying my actions, when in reality I was trying to talk her off a ledge from killing herself with the advice of her friend. In addition to the misrepresentation and lies in her statement, she is also sure to link directly to any tweets involving other high-profile figures I spoke with, likely with the goal of getting others to tweet her statement at them. She also makes it explicitly clear that her goal is to simply inflict as much damage onto me as possible. Also, the wording of her Substack tweet heavily implies that I was also publicly posting revenge porn of her.
Well, if this is true, then yeah.
The screamer destiny, not essentially shared by nudes, making me a victim.
Once again, and I'll actually, you know what, this is a good place for us to cut it because the last part's about the negotiations and I've got to go. But the point is, if he was in, I'll actually leave on this screen here. So like, what if he was actually sharing it to Discord? Discord is public. People don't understand what the meaning of the word public is. If it's something like a Discord chat room, people think this is private. Instagram group messages. There have been cases. There's a long line of case precedent. Snapchat, for example. There are cases in which Snapchat groups have been interpreted by the court to be public, that being a public distribution of something, particularly a Snapchat, because there's, for example, Snapchat nude cases where people leak nudes to a Snapchat group and then it gets out to everybody, or it was leaked only to the nudes were sent to close friends, right? A limited group, but that was considered public. That was considered public dissemination. So this defense of his is not going to work. It's an ineffective defense. And that's what I think is very sad about this, is that he's using these arguments, none of which I've seen that have any bearing on the legal side of it. Now there's some 5 minutes left, but if I do that, it's going to take me another 10, 15, and I've got a boogie to go over to Savannah Airport and BKK, to go over to Osaka, take that Shinkansen and get over into Japan. And I do really appreciate everybody showing up on the last minute. Let me get these two super chats. Alter Void for 10 said, are people going to need big signs on the door that everything is recorded and that wouldn't even hold up in court? No, I mean, but the thing is, what my comment there, Alter Void, is not that you can never record sexual relationships that are consensual. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that in this case, based on the facts, the opposing lawyers are going to be able to look at the process and say, well, what consent did you have? How was this recorded? Was it written down? What did you have? They're going to be able to come in and poke holes, and all they need to do is, show that there's some lapse in that, or rather lapse in consent for distributing on Discord, which there probably wasn't. There probably wasn't a Discord loophole that, oh yeah, you can distribute it just to your side girl or just to your Discord, e-thoughts. There probably wasn't a caveat in that consent. So there might be a problem there. K Goblin, KG for 10 says, have a tenor to make up for tripping YouTube infantilization filter. Yeah, it happens, but it happens. But to be honest, guys, being authentic, giving you the raw deal is more important to me than just YouTube triggering my ad revenue. The ad revenue is not that much anyways. It's something, but I'd rather give you the facts and give you the good raw data than use weird words and all that other crap. Maybe consider a post on your laptop with a don't say X message. I know what the words are, but sometimes it just happens, and he said it first. So once he said it, it screws up the whole stream. So we were done there. But that's what I got for today, guys. I'm going to be back on this. I'm not going to give up on this case. I'm going to be on it. I was covering this like a couple weeks ago, and I'm going to see this through all the way from, lawsuit to lawsuit, including anything that comes in against Kiwi Farms. Thank you guys for being with me. Please, love you guys. And I will be back. I'll probably have a member stream while I'm in Japan. I'm going to bring all my streaming equipment with me, my travel setup. Solon for 50 Argentina says, Lord, please let Snowball Steve shake his jaw all the way into a jail cell. Please, please. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, guys. And we know that Destiny will be sitting around, and he's going to be...
You are coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing.